always be something that I take with me. I think on my deathbed, if they say what is something that you regret, it will be that. It will always be that, because when I realized that I was getting on in age and maybe I should do something about it, it was already too late for me. And it's interesting because at that point, yes, it's something maybe I could have done before, something that I came to realize, and then realizing that, like, not that I didn't know enough to maybe change certain things, move things around so that I can make it happen. And then when I kind of relied and fell back on science, that science didn't work for me, aka artificial insemination and all of those things, right? But anyway, I understand. I do understand that it wasn't in the cards for me. Like this, because I really believe anything that's meant for me, I will receive, come hell or high water. Like God will make sure that I receive what was meant for me. And I just wish that that was in the cards for me. And maybe on my dying day, I won't regret that, because maybe I will come to the realization that, oh, there was something else that I was meant to do. I'm only 50 years young. There's so much more things that maybe might come up and be like, this is why I didn't have kids, right? But so that's my long answer, Maisha.
No, no, and I love that. And hey, Ear Hustler says, "Good Wednesday, ladies." Um, and I love that, and the idea that, and that carries me through too, right? What's meant for us will find us.
Mhm.
I truly believe that as well. What about you, Dr. Jamesia?
Am I living life with no regrets? No, I have a couple. And like Carmel said, I don't know that maybe there are some people out there. I don't know if that is realistic, but and oftentimes I look back, but I'm learning to move forward and just be in the moment and live each day, because I don't know. And I'm at that age where I'm seeing people die. So it gets real. Life gets real. And I'm appreciating more of my life. So some parts of me feel like I've been serious, very serious for a long time. And I talked to you guys about that, about how laser focused I've been in life about things that probably, won't matter, as you get older as much, won't matter as much. But I'm playing more. I am enjoying life more. Um, and sometimes my guardrails are up on my life. Like, okay, you're playing way too much. You need to do this. You need to focus on this. But I'm learning that when I do that, I regret that. So I'm doing a lot less of it, meaning putting the guardrails up on my life. So
When you see the guardrails up, like stopping yourself from having too much fun, or not being what you think is serious, or
both of those things. Both, yes.
okay.
From
Yeah.
doing too much fun stuff when I should be focused on, building wealth, building a legacy for my family.
Yeah.
I've taken that responsibility on. And so, I'm doing a lot more fun stuff and I'm enjoying myself. So, yeah. Oh,
Yay.
yeah, seriously. And I don't know that I would have if I hadn't met you all. Not, I mean,
Oh,
no, I was doing a little here and there, but not as much, and doing it with such fullness. So,
you know what, Dr. J, I feel you on that. Just when you said it, I feel like meeting you all and really meeting people who are at the point in their lives where they're like, I want a softer life. I want to enjoy what's been given to me. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I want to enjoy this time of my life. I feel like I've come to a place where, yeah, that's okay. I can build wealth and I have fun. I can be serious and still have fun. I can try to build a business and still enjoy the process and not have it be, like laser focused, hyper focused on one end goal and not stop and smell the roses. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, that was so
Yeah.
good.
And even with Maisha, like in my ear, like, oh no, you need to sleep. And I'm like, oh no, I get up at 4 a.m. Sleep. Who's doing that? It's like, girl, you better sleep. I'm like, girl, you better wake up. Better do some work. So
meanwhile, here I am over here trying to get up earlier.
I'm trying to find that happy medium. I'm like, I want to wake up early and still do all the things, including sleep. Yeah, that was good.
Well, I'll talk about mine too, but let me talk about mine and I'll get to this. I used to regret a lot of things. I used to regret almost everything. And that, like, there's nothing you can do about the past. Right. And so I started to take that same viewpoint that Carmel did, like, okay, well, this lifetime, this is what was meant for me, because I'm living a life that I actually never envisioned for myself. I never envisioned marriage or children. It was not something that I thought about. So as I was going through being married and having children, I had to readjust this idea of who I thought I was, along with dealing with all the stuff that I was dealing with in my marriage. So it was really like, okay, it was kind of the opposite of Carmel's. Like, this was not like Carmel's life was that's how I saw me. That's how everybody saw me. Everybody who knew me just knew that I was going to be out here swinging, single, doing whatever, traveling and all that. And I have lived the very, very opposite of that life. So I realized that there had to have been a reason that I was given a life that I had made absolutely no preparations for, like literally none, even down to the person I married. Because had I thought about having children, it would not have been with that dude. So I really had to say, okay, well, I cannot regret that anymore, because first of all, so much beauty has come out of that shift for me, and so much growth. I would have been a complete asshole if I did not ever get married and have children. I would just not have been a very nice person. And so being in that situation of giving and being responsible grew me up. I wouldn't have my business that I love. I think I might have come into it later, because I feel like there's always certain things along our path that we're gonna come into, but I might not have gotten to some earlier stage of it until now, or even later. So I love now the journey that I've been on. I love who it's turning me into, who's being created. I love these young adults, that are here. So my goal now is not necessarily to live life with no regrets, but it's when I make decisions that might not have aligned, to say, okay, this might not have been the thing, but where's the gold in it, so I don't regret it. Yeah, because I'm still gonna make decisions that I might look back on, when I'm 55 and go, damn, did I really want to do that? But there's a reason for it. So I try to see life that way. So here are the top 5, and look, y'all can do a quick Google search for this as well. But the top 5 regrets of people who are dying. I'm going to go from 5 up, and we can talk about each one. Number 5, I wish I had let myself be happier. Is that something that you ladies are?
I can definitely relate.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear. Like, I have a lot of fear around certain things, and I have to let some of those things go. It's like protecting my heart, protecting my finances, protecting my home, protecting my kids, just and if you're always like on guard, you truly cannot be at the height of your happiness. You just cannot.
It's true.
Because you're trying to control everything.
Yeah, that hypervigilance.
Right.
What about you, Carnell? Carnell, look, I'm putting words together. Carmel, I wish I had let myself be happier.
I wish I had, yes, be happier. There were times where it was almost kind of like the sad people got the attention. And it was kind of like, if I'm grumpy and mad, I'll get the attention that I feel like I need. That was something that I went through probably in high school. And that's one thing. And talk about high school. I wish I went away to school. I wish I commuted. I went to FIT, a subway right away. And every young person that I speak to, I'm always like, where are you going to school? Are you boarding at school? Like, I'm always trying to get them to go away because I know I forfeited so much growth by staying home. And I stayed home because my mom instilled this fear of the world in me. And she told me how she wanted me to stay home. And a part of me, I know myself to be a rebel, but it was so ingrained in me that I didn't want to rock the boat. Mom might be right this time. So let me just, I'm still going to college, still going to get the education. I'll still get some experience, but I won't be too far from home. And I think I let go a little bit of my happiness from that as well. Like the commuting, that takes a lot out of you. So here I am, I'm studying, I'm trying to maintain a social life, and I'm commuting all these hours back and forth. Yeah, it was a subway right away, but there's the bus to the train, then walking, and then doing that for 4 years. And not really experiencing the culture, especially I went to FIT, and being immersed in a culture like that, I just wonder how much greater I would have been. And that was all fear. And when you're wrapped up in fear like that, how are you truly happy? So that's my answer.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting as you say that, and I was just reading I'll read what it says here. This is a surprisingly common one. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again.
Wow.
So I wish I had let myself be happier. When I look back, I was a very disgruntled person in my 20s and 30s, and something was always better. So no matter where we lived, I didn't like it. I wanted what was across the street or on the other side. I had no appreciation, no gratitude. That was just me in general. No appreciation, no gratitude. I can be honest about that. And I always wanted more. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but I didn't have I wasn't, like, hey, this is wonderful, and let me have more. It was like, this sucks. I want that over there. So because I was thinking that way, everything sucked. It was never good enough. Nothing was ever good enough. And now, even if something's not where I'd like it to be or how I'd like it to be, I try to find the things that I'm grateful for in it, so I can let myself be happier in the moment, as opposed to looking at it like, this sucks. It's not exactly perfect the way it needs to be. And so none of it matters. Baby and bath water and bathtub all go out the window. So gratitude has actually been really helpful for me with that. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I don't think that's a problem for either of y'all.
No, but I want to say this. It takes work. It doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional. And that's something that I always keep in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh no, I love this person. And I want to make sure, even if I just a simple text or a simple pick up the phone, what you're doing, just a quick touch base. I mean, it's intentional. My girlfriend that I love dearly, she's in Rhode Island. We haven't had a chat in a while. We're close, but she's in Rhode Island and I've got so much stuff here. So she loves pumpkin bread, her and her family. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make some bread. I'm going to mail it out. And that keeps, it just keeps it's intentional. So yes, I agree with that.
Oh, real quick. Hey, Vader Steeler fan. There's no shortcuts for any abundant life that I want to live. Living with regrets helps me grow and learn from my mistakes. That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Carmel? Do you wish you'd stayed in touch with your friends?
I feel like there's some friends that I wish I stayed in touch with. And it's funny, my sister and I were walking down memory lane the other day of the children on our street that we grew up with. And it's bittersweet. And like, the people in our past help shape us. We are who we are because of our relationships with them. Even if like the head rolls, like, what you staring at? Who? Like even those relationships, they put a smile on my face and make me remember the innocence back then when our biggest issue was she looked at me the wrong way. But there are some friendships that I wish I maintained, but I'm okay with the fact that they are where they are. They still put a smile on my face. I wish them well and keep it moving. And if our paths cross in the future, I know I'll have an open heart to say, how are you? Like, and talk about it. But I feel like unless a relationship, I don't know. I feel like there's some relationships that can stay where they are and they serve their purpose, a time and a season and a reason, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't collect people. She's gonna say, I
don't collect people. And I was thinking, it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. I think my daughter was asking me some question. I'm thinking as you both were talking, I was thinking about what old friends I'm still in touch with. Well, and when I say in touch, I mean we're connected on social media, and I've seen her every couple of years or so. I happen to see her. The girl who was my best friend in elementary school. So I had reconnected with her. I don't even remember when, but I see her from time to time, and I can follow her adventures on Facebook. We're not close or anything like that, but I can follow her adventures. There are two women from high school who, and I've talked about this before, like we were really close, and the lack of our friendship saddens me. But I don't know that we could be friends now. Like there's some people like that I know, like, first of all, I didn't have a lot of friends as a child anyway. My parents were real. Like I didn't have kids that I played with on the block. None of that. But there are people that I've known that there's absolutely no way we would connect now anyway. And then there are people that I am now making an intentional effort that I used to know to try and stay connected with. And those are mostly the women that I met when I moved to Maryland and when our children were younger. Those women I'm doing my best to kind of stay in touch with, especially because I want to move back down there too. But those women really were a centerpiece of a pivotal point in my life. And we had so much in common, crunchy granola, all natural, breastfeeding, not spank your kid. Like we were all that new agey stuff that people now call gentle parenting or whatever, but we were doing that 25 years ago. So those women I feel close to. And then there's like you guys, like people that I meet now who I would want to continue friendships with, and I can now see the value, because I didn't really see the value of friends. So I was like, all right. And it was just like, all right, we're done, we're finished. Okay. I hope you have a really great life, but we're finished. Just again, out with the baby with the bathwater. Here it says, often people would not truly realize the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks, and it was not always possible to track them down. Many have become so caught up in their own lives that they had let golden friendships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort that they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. So, hey, something to consider, because I don't want to be that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I
I'm just
grew up
gonna
I grew up in a household we were not allowed to express our feelings. Like, happiness, of course, laughter, yeah, of course. But don't be discontent with something and have it show in your face. Not let alone say it. Like my mother didn't even want to see it on my face. It was like, fix your face.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone say something, Mom. No, what?
Mm-hmm.
What? No. So I grew up hiding that. And then I went to Catholic school with the nuns. And back then the nuns were spanking. And so I grew up girls. So go ahead, Dr. J. That's all I have to say about that. You can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I think most, dare I say, Black families were like that.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
that's like kind of the norm, right, for us. But it carried over for me in relationships.
Yeah.
Not really expressing exactly what I want or exactly how I feel or rocking the boat, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, that's not really important to me anyway. I'm go over here and make some money. I'll just, whatever's happening over here, okay. Seriously. So, but now it's like, I'm very intentional about what I need, what I want, what I feel, what I desire.
Right. Because see, money's easy because money didn't have feelings.
Yep.
Right. Money.
And there was no rejection. There was no rejection.
Right.
There was no abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
No walking away.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. Hey, Mary Kim, I see you over on Instagram. For some reason, it won't let me comment or anything. But Mary Kim says hi, and she gave me the side eye for collecting people. She agrees with Carmel, probably about the listen. I didn't collect people, but I did collect men. So, but that's a whole nother problem and story. But yeah, Mary Kim said no judgment or shame when it comes to the money. So number 3 is what I've now spent my life doing. It is number 3 has become my life's work. It is really at the core of my business. Is helping people to have the courage to express their feelings, because similarly, there was no expressing the feelings. My father was very clear, fix your face. There was whatever it was that was happening, it wasn't for my parents to know about. My grandparents didn't want to hear none of it either. Okay, I didn't have those grandparents that were like, "Oh, come sit here." No. My grandparents was like, "Suck it up." Okay, there was no one. Maybe my mother a little bit, but so I didn't have the courage to express any feelings. First, I didn't even know what feelings were. Like I really did. I couldn't even tell you what they were up until I had my kids, and then some of them, but it really wasn't until my mid-40s that I was able to have a full range of it, not only just expressing them, but also starting to say it as well. So I think this one's really important. And it says many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses relating to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result, which is another reason to me why this is so important, because I see Black women. I mean, I know other people too, but look, I'm a Black woman. I focus on Black women. Black women suppressing every single emotion and feeling. And I see how it is leading us down the road of sad health and early death. And sometimes we need to just tell people. Roots and Waves says, hey. Welcome.
Hey.
Raider Steeler fan said, I either become a prisoner of my regrets or I overcome them. Plain and simple.
Okay.
Straight to the point. Straight to the point.
Steeler fan got it together.
Number 2. Hold on a second. Let me see. Mary Kim said, grew up in that same home, only speak when spoken to. Kids are seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 2 regret.
I have a little bit of that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to figure out my exit plan right now. So, seriously, because it's now come to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm working a little bit too hard. And now I'm like, okay, I am exhausted and I'm enjoying all this joy. I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to give me some more of this before these days are numbered or, so
Yeah.
seriously. And of course, I'm always thinking of a strategy to work smarter and not harder. That's always going to be, I'm always going to work. I'm always going to create some type of income, but it's just going to be a smarter way of doing it. And that's not going to be on my list because I'm working on it right now. So.
Yeah. So I feel like for so long, I worked so much for what? Carmel, what were you trying to prove? Like when I was working for someone, I wouldn't take vacation. What? For recognition? For thank you? That I never got. I just worked my way through vacations and didn't even so much to take one of those staycations where I just didn't do anything. I was just working. Why? So somebody could pat me on the back. I don't even understand why. I didn't have a family. At the time, I was still living at home. Carmel, what? And so I feel like back then, I wish I just enjoyed my youth a little bit more. Like, this is my job out of college, and I'm just kind of like working to the bone for what? And even when I started my own business, I would go in on Saturdays and Sundays, and I was like, everything's got to get done. And that was a case of me working harder and not so much as smarter because I didn't have systems in place. I didn't know how to run a business. And here I was running a business and thinking that I had to cater to everybody's whim when in actuality, it's my business and people, they're just going to have to wait. And I finally grew into the idea that it's not an emergency unless somebody's dying. And in my field, that was literally something that could happen. I work in construction. So it's literally not an emergency unless somebody's literally dying. And so I had to come into that. And when I hired people, I would tell my staff, listen, I'm never going to call you after 5. I'm never going to call you while you're on vacation. And it's never an emergency unless somebody's dying. Like I would tell them, this is what my value is. So never call me, Carmel, something's happening. No, stop. Is somebody dying? So I came into that much later, but before that, I wish, girl, what are you working so hard for anyway? So that's my story.
Yeah, I didn't do that at work. I did that when it came to my personal life. At work, don't look for me, don't find me. I mean, I'll work overtime because I want the money. But I was not an above and beyond. Because I in my mind, I know you're not paying me enough. Like I know you're not. And I know that if I give you all of my time, you're just going to take it anyway. It is not going to be appreciated. So I've never worked for an employer with that much gusto in my life. However, in my personal life, I've had to feel like I had to do all the things. And in my business, feel like I have to do all the things. Like that is where it is difficult for me to step back from work and from the like things with my children and stuff like that. That was me working. Sometimes it's like, y'all, children, y'all can do this, right? I don't need to keep going to the store to do stuff. Everybody's an adult here. You can go, but I'm over here like, oh, I got to do all the things. I really don't have to do them. And it took me a while to realize that. So the woman who wrote this book, she said this came from every male patient that I nursed, but she had interviewed people who were older. They missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. Women also spoke of this regret, but as most were from an older generation, many of the female patients had not been breadwinners, and all of the men deeply regretted spending so much time, so much of their lives on the treadmill of a work existence. And I think that that's probably going to be true of a lot of women as well, because we were given the golden ticket to go work. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't work, but I'm saying because we have all these opportunities that in some ways we have missed out. I know we have missed out on time and things that we may have wanted to do, because and look, honestly, some of us look, I'm speaking for Black women here. We kind of do have to work so hard in so many ways. And it's finding that balance between wanting to get ahead and build that generational wealth, and also taking time for ourselves that other groups don't quite have that issue. I'm just saying. So and the number one regret, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I'll just read it. It says, this was the most common regret of all. When people realize that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it, it is easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Most people had not honored even half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to choices they had made or not made. Yeah. So I'll say this. This again, like with the feelings, this is a mantra for me, and I'll be honest, it's a lonely place to live. I understand why people don't live true to themselves, because most people aren't. When you do, you seem a little bit like weird, or or that's just way out the whatever. But I have committed myself to living as true to me as possible, even if it means my circle is extremely small, or even if it meant my circle was non-existent. I spent all of my childhood years, as most of us do, trying to live up to the expectations of others. And the gift of a suicide attempt is that was kind of like my big, like, to everybody, and whatever expectations they had of me at that point, it was like, no, let's leave Maisha alone. We don't want her to try to do that again. So let's just let her do whatever it is that she wants to do. Not saying that was right, but I have been committed to myself and to teaching my children. I don't have to like your life. I tell them all the time, I don't have to like your life. You're going to live it. I might not like what you do. I might not like where you live. I'm going to tell you about who you're going to marry, though, because we're breaking some patterns and things over here. So I'm going to say something about that. But whatever it is that you're doing, go do you. Because I'm a do me, because we're all grown now. So that my hope is to not have that regret on my deathbed.
That's definitely a big one. Read that again, Maisha. What the biggest regret?
I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me.
So again, like you said, going back to not even being able to feel, like, express our feelings, let alone verbalize it. Like, that just sets you up for failure right then and there. I'm living my entire life based on what other people think of me, and it showed up with all my relationships, dating people that I didn't really necessarily like, but because they showed interest in me, it was just like, okay, he likes me, and even behaving a certain way. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this in a relationship, or this is the way I'm supposed to behave in a relationship, and then working endlessly for some kind of accolade. Oh, Carmel is a good worker because she comes in early and leaves late. So, and it just goes on and on and on, right? I feel like I remember my father asking me, "What do you want to do when you get older?" And I was just like, "Oh." And he's like, "You don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer?" And that just made me feel like if I chose anything else, it would not be good enough. So of course, when I went into design, it wasn't good enough. And then I decided that I didn't want to do design, and that wasn't good enough. And then at a certain point in my life, I was just like, I really enjoy exercise, but how am I going to pay the bills with that? So nothing was ever good enough. So I always tried to stay where I was expected to stay. So yeah, that's a big one. That one's deep. I can't wait to
Mm.
come back in my next lifetime with. I hope I bring some of this knowledge with me.
Oh, I like look like I'm ready, and you know it for I just the stuff that you were saying, Carmela, reminded me. There's this one time when my mother told me she was proud of me, and whenever I'd heard that, it was because I had done something when I was a child. I had done something. I won an award. I got all A's. And so I thought that was my worth. Like, and so because I left school. I mean, my brother has a PhD, my sister has a master's degree and some other advanced degree. I mean, I just got my degree in 2020, you know, and I didn't have my degree. I still had just a high school diploma. I didn't have a career path. I was like, I would take this job and then that job because y'all know time is most important to me. So I was always trying to finagle working time so I could do what I wanted to do. And my mother I always felt like a disappointment to her because I wasn't living the life that she had expected her firstborn child to live. And there was one time when she, you know, told me that she was proud of me, that I was really just like, wow, thanks. I didn't know what to do with that because I had done all these things that I had not met the expectations from my birth. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
For me, I just was like, it was always, oh, you're going to be just like, oh, you're going to be just like. And from very young, it was always, oh, it was always somebody putting something on my life. And I never wanted to be anything stereotypical, never, as far as being a Black woman. I was never wanting to be that angry, loud Black woman. I never wanted to be this trifling, whatever Black woman. It was like, I did not want to live up to any stereotypes that anybody had about Black women. So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to be yelling at anybody. I'm not going to be cussing nobody out. I'm not, it was just always just not going to live up to any stereotypes. I'm just going to do everything different.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've always had that in the back of my head. I wasn't going to get pregnant before getting married. I wasn't going to drop out of school. I wasn't going to, but again, that puts pressure on you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like, because I think that's something that a lot of us, especially as Black women, run into, is this idea that because we have all these stereotypes around us and we're trying so hard not to fit them, that I think we don't, it's like, who am I? Who actually am I then?
Right. And I'm very well, and it was, and it's kind of, I don't know. I'm just me, really. I never felt like I wanted to be an angry Black woman, or I never felt like I wanted to do any of the stereotypical things. But I was going to make sure that I wasn't going to be pregnant at 13 or whatever, or, but it was still very, a lot of pressure that I put on me. That I put on myself. So, you have that voice saying, hey, you're going to be just like, and it's like, no, I'm not. And I'm going to show you because I'm not. So I feel like that has caused me not to live as abundant as I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting how all these tie in together.
Yeah. Yeah. They all have.
You were saying?
Go ahead.
You're gonna say because?
Oh, girl, please, 55. I didn't forgot what I was about to say. It's gone.
But Dr. Tamika, like it's interesting how you talk about the stereotypes. In my house, we grew up hearing about those stereotypes, but that's what the Black Americans did, right?
Mhm.
So,
Right, but there was a
in my
negative spin to it, though.
yeah, it was a negative spin to it. My mother said, "You're not Black American."
Mhm.
Or American Black, or however way she said it. She said, we said it in our language, and she's like, you're not going to do what they do. And one of them was get pregnant, unmarried, and not finish school. And even the way my brother would wear his hair or wear his pants, she was like, you're not them, so you're not going to do that, and you're not going to listen to that music. And I just think my next lifetime, I'm getting pregnant at 13. I'm not, I'm not wasting any time.
Listen,
But
I had the same
I
things
do,
in my head. Go ahead.
yeah, but I do regret not living a little bit more. So,
Yeah, and I think that all ties in, Dr. Jamisi.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had well, I mean, I've had some experiences, and I still have some stuff on my bucket list. But the stuff that's on my bucket list at this point is, y'all. I'm sure it's not on y'all's, but I've done some things. But look, I grew up in that same household, Carmel, and my mother is from the South, and my father's family is from the Bahamas, though. But the same things were told in my house. It was just you are not you're not some Negro. Okay, so this is how you're going to speak. This is how you're
Mhm.
going to act. This
Mhm.
is how you're going to show up in the world. And was one of the reasons I didn't have a lot of friends, right? No, you don't associate with those people. No, you don't act like those people over there. And hence, me being called an Oreo at a very early age, which kind of disturbed me because I mean, there is something to be said about if I don't want to be like the stereotype, the only other example we have is this proximity to whiteness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if I'm not going to be the stereotype of anything that's seen, I don't have anything to look at. All I've got is white culture. And so I guess I'm gonna emulate kind of white culture or some watered down in between version of Black culture. I don't know. But I was around a lot of white people. So I ended up emulating a lot of the culture I saw on TV and what I went to school with. And so then it ended up being the Oreo double stuff kid, because what else did I have? And then it's learning how, and then it's okay, well, what does it mean to be true to myself? And then I had to question, okay, well, but who am I? How do I actually want to live? Do I care about the stereotypes? Do I know that I'm not that? Like, I've had all these questions running through my mind as I've gotten older. And if there were no stereotypes, what would I do? And I started to ask myself that question.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that.
And let that guide me. Because if I want to be pissed, I'm gonna be pissed.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. If I want to be extra happy, I'm gonna be extra happy. And it's like
Mhm.
if that did not, if I was like a white woman and no stereotypes existed, all I got is trailer park. If no stereotypes existed, what would I do in this moment? And not continue to let other people's ideas of how I'm supposed to be constantly dictate my behavior. And that has been that's still a challenge
Mhm.
as a Black woman in the United States.
Mhm.
I don't want to die on my deathbed with that. Let me tell you right now. All right. So look, we've if you're watching the replays, you've heard the statements, and we would love to know in the comments, do you resonate with any of these regrets? Are you going to now do something different? Are you going to switch up your bucket list? Are you going to enter into a relationship because you're like, yeah, everybody else in my family is screwy, but that doesn't have to be my story? Are you going to leave the marriage that you got into because everybody liked that person, but you really cannot stand being it? Y'all just don't match at all, but everybody else was okay with it. Are you going to go to school, not go to school because it's what you want to do? Are you going to leave the high powered job because it's really not you, but everybody would look at you like, why would you want to leave that position? You're making that much money, but you're tired, you're drained, you're sick. What kind of life do you want to live? Because at the end of the day and your life, the only person laying on that deathbed with you most likely is you and all these people that you lived your life for, and to make sure that they liked you and they thought you were acceptable. Is it really going to matter at that point? And champion feminist over here said it resonates 100. Yeah. And how would your life be if you actually lived your life like it, you had no regrets? How happy would you be? I don't know. I'm trying to be happy, y'all. Anyway, ladies, do you have anything else you want to say before? Go ahead. Do you have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No. Oh, did you say me? I'm sorry. Did you say me or ladies?
Ladies.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
No, not really. Just like you said, happiness is a choice. It really is. And I don't want to have a lot of regrets. I know there will be some, but I am minimizing them as I get older. So that's fine. I hope you guys will be doing the same.
I'm working. I've said often that, there's a lot on my plate right now, but I'm so content because I put them all there. I'm like, yes, I want that. And I want that. And I want to do that. And I'm saying yes to that. And I'm like, Carmel, boundaries, but I'm enjoying the decisions that I'm making and the projects that I'm doing and the people that I choose to hang out with, so that I don't regret not having, like my girls at Black Coffee, Honey and Grits, whatever, and everything that I do. So yeah, it might come crashing down, but at least I'll be like, I did the thing, and that's what I wanted to do. So.
Hey, Maurice just joined us, and he said his number one regret is that he didn't start contributing to his 401k on the first job that matched. Man, you done missed out on the listen. Here's your assignment, sir.
You sound like me.
Right. Okay. Here's your assignment. So these are the top 5 regrets of the dying that we went over today. I wish I had let myself be happier. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I'd had the courage to express my emotions. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Knowing him, he'll be like, I ain't doing none of that anyway. Oh, he said, he's been on since the beginning. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. My bad, sir.
So like I said, my 401k.
I'm good on everything else. Thank you very much. Daggone it, Carmel, you said something that I was going to respond to before we jumped out. Oh, the being true to yourself. I think like having the things on my plate that are on my plate now, I'm enjoying them. And the being true to myself is realizing that the way that I was living before was as a result of things, but the actual person and woman who I am and the kind of lifestyle that I want is so anti the way I thought before that it's weird and frightening to me. Right. And I think that's me reconciling. Like I thought I was gonna, I just want to do everything myself. I already know I have a whole list of a team of people. I don't, I've already stated I don't want to grocery shop. I don't want to clean. If you'd have caught me 15 years ago, I'm not going to have a housekeeper. That's such a waste. So capitalist. No, send me my Merry Maid. Thank you very much. So being true to yourself looks different for everybody, but find out what it is. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We will be back Friday around 11:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. We are Black women, so the ish is real, okay? Take that however you want it. But we will see you on Friday around 11:30-ish. In the meantime, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share, and check us out in our Facebook group, Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. We can continue the conversation in there, and we will see you on Friday, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.